Hey, welcome to the next ultimate test between our heavyweight champions, pun intended. I put Fable 5, Opus 5, GPT Sol and Kimi K3 head to head to see who actually has the upper hand and who just isn't up to the job. As a small extra, I also ran the Ultra and Max variants of each model, except Kimi K3. So that's Sol Ultra, Sol Max, Fable Ultracode, Fable Max, Opus Ultracode and Opus Max. Moonshot's servers were completely overloaded when it came out fresh, so the test dragged on for hours. I'm pretty sure since Kimi K3's weights are on services like Autonomy Cloud now, the load is not that high anymore and the times are reasonable now. I rate these on quality, creativity, speed and autonomy. Quality is 50%, creativity 45%, speed 2.5 and autonomy 2.5. Scores go from 0 to 10. This video was meant to drop about 3 to 4 weeks ago. Then Kimi K3 launched, then Opus 5 dropped, so yeah, here we are. These take a lot of time to make, so if you like this, subscribe and leave a like. And now let's go into the test. I give every model the same system prompt. This time I tried to be as specific as possible after the last test was a bit more broad. Minimal goals were a real installable NeoForge mod, Java 25, no external dependencies and a lot more. You will see all of them on the screen. Everything ran in clean environments. I noticed that a bunch of these mods reuse similar names, Strata, Ember, Dynamo, but I think that's just search results bleeding in. Test ran in isolated containers because I am well aware GPT 5.6 is a bit of a cheater. We'll quickly go through each mod and give you the scores. Placements stay for the end. We start with GPT Sol Max. GPT Sol Max built Lumenworks. 10 blocks, 8 machines, 7 items. 2 power options, an Ember Dynamo that burns fuel and a solar receiver. The chain is a 3-stage copper refinery. Capstone is the strata loom. Cobblestone plus a catalyst into raw ore. Catalyst gets eaten every cycle, so at least it's not a free infinite loop. 5 achievements that show the mod step by step. I was happy to see it. Okay, textures. Second worst in the whole test. Only Ultra is worse. Same textures on all 6 sides and all 8 machines share one GUI that just draws rectangles. Even the cell, which only stores power, also has the same GUI, even though there is nothing to put in. The cable is a full block, but it seems like it should not. GPT models in general have trash pixel art, and you see that again in a second. The game loop is interesting, but simple. It actually works. The problem is it never goes further than works. Machines delete your items and energy when you break them, and the lava bucket jams your automation forever because the hopper that normally should pull out the empty bucket is not doing so. Quality is 6, creativity 6, speed is a 10, 33 minutes, fastest of the whole test, autonomy 7, so that's a 6.13. Next up, GPT Sol Ultra with Lithodyne. 8 blocks, 7 machines, 9 items. Only one power source, the Ember Dynamo. I'm not going to sugarcoat this, but the blocks look terrible. Front face are straight up borrowed vanilla textures, furnace fronts, piston tops. No cables, you aim power with one-way relay blocks, except the arrows show in every direction. So the one block whose entire job is direction is confusing. The multiblock is a pylon ringed strata loom. You show it an ore sample and it rebuilds that ore out of plain stone. Sample never gets consumed. GUI looks bad, and even a block like the relay has also the same UI, even though it does not have any items that can be put in. It does actually run, docs are accurate, but as a mod you'd play, no. Worst textures of the whole test. 22 tip texts in the language file, and not a single one is used. The ore memory idea is genuinely cool though. Ultra isn't a simple reasoning level. It's more like a multi-agent orchestrator, and because it spins up max for every sub-agent, you get a whole chain of overthinking. Stay away from it, for now. More tokens, worse output. Quality 4.5, creativity 5, speed 8.5, about 55 minutes, autonomy 6, so that's a 4.86. One more thing, the GPT models are in my opinion untrustworthy. I've got a video planned for the next week on that. Now Fable 5 Max, Voltweave. 9 blocks, 8 machines, 15 items. Theme is electricity as a threat. 2 power sources, combustion dynamo and a solar loop, so a solar receiver. And this is, for me, the best looking mod in the entire test. Clean blocks, pogo style pins, every machine has its own real GUI. The solar loom looks just perfect. Sadly, the cables do not connect. Capstone is the Weave Nexus, a 3x3x3. Drop a template in, say a diamond, and it weaves you copies. Templates never get consumed. Game loop is solid, hard gates between tiers. Under the pretty skin though, it's the most standard loop of the top mods. Looks alone don't save it. A 2-top lies about smelting dusts in furnaces. Playtest doc claims the capstone drops into a hopper below, but that face is covered by a casing, so it's impossible. Quality 8, creativity 7.5, speed 7, autonomy 7.5, so that's a 7.74. Still a really good mod. Fable 5 Ultracode made Galvanics. Theme alone is cool. The Copper Age discovers electricity. 11 blocks, 8 machines, 8 items. 2 power sources, and one of them genuinely surprised me. Standard combustion dynamo, and then the oxidation vat, which generates power by corroding copper. Corrosion also produces verdigris, which you need for every circuit. So the vat is a power source and a processing step at the same time. Visuals are clean, cables actually connect, capstone block is animated. Multiblock is the fabricator, a 3x3 casing wall. And the final product is the Voltaic Star, a little wireless sun that powers every machine around it. 7 achievements instead of a book. And in the playtest I found nothing to complain about. Only mod of all 7 where that's true. Cables connect, capstone is animated, 7 achievements, nothing broken. Oxidation vat is still my favorite idea of the whole test. Destroy copper for power, that's also your only source for verdigris. And the capstone stays unique. Everyone else prints resources or does some useless final item. This one ends with wireless automatic power. Only real criticism is the design docs drifting from the code in a few places. Nothing a player will feel, but it keeps autonomy from a 9 or 10. As example, the Voltaic Star scans a 17x17x17 area every 100 ticks. But the design docs and the model itself claims no word scans. Also the model claims that there are staged corrosion for copper, but they are being consumed instantly, so there are no stages. Keeping all of that in mind, the quality is 8.5, creativity 8.5, speed 7 and autonomy 8.5. That's an 8.46. Now for the one that shocked me. Kimi K3 Max with Emberline. 10 blocks, 5 machines, 10 items. Everything runs on heat, so embers. 2 power sources, ember burner and a lava crucible that only burns lava buckets but also produces more power. Design is clean and the cables are visually the best of any mod in the test. Rewires that actually connect in a beautiful way. But they still have full-size block collider. I couldn't reach the multi-block and had to break the cable just to put items in. And the GUI is also broken for all blocks. But they don't share one GUI for all blocks. Like as example GPT. Capstone is the Ember Core, a 3x3x3 that forges Syndrium. Problem is, there is nothing real to do with it, just a trophy block. Ore doubling exists as intermediate steps, I just couldn't find it in game, because the recipes are invisible in the recipe book. This pretty much tells you how finished the thing was. Content is thin, decent engine, shipped in a way where you can't find or use half of it. But the fact that Kimi got this far at all, respect. Run took over 5 hours. I know that was the servers, but I still scored the clock I sat in front of. But I still gave it a 1 instead of a 0 because of honorary reasons. Quality 5.5, creativity 5.5, speed is a 1, and autonomy is a 5.5. So that's a 5.39. I still think Kimi is capable, this just needs more than one pass to fully reach its potential. Opus 5 Max built Pulsewright, and Opus in general really surprised me. 15 blocks, 10 machines, 17 items. Its own custom ore, Resonite, with real world generation. The only model that did that. Blocks look good, not Fable level, but consistent. And the cables are real wires that connect. For power we have the Ember Dynamo and a decay reactor that burns resonate dust. Two mechanics I have to call out are cables have line loss, so power actually leaks over distance, and machines speed each other up when they touch. Opus calls it phase lock. Both change how you lay out your base. Also, the first crusher is a hand crank mill that works without power, which I find really interesting. Capstone is the straighter resonator, a 3x3x3 that makes straighter clusters. The only sad bit is that the final item has no real use, because the recipes are for ore doubling of iron and gold, which are already covered by previous steps. This model is the engineer of the group. Only custom ore, cables that leak, phase lock, hand mill that's deliberately miserable so your first power machine feels earned. Full test cycle, no breakage in my playtest. The straw that broke the camel's back is zero recipe discovery. No recipe book, no achievements, no introduction. Without the docs, you're guessing. Quality 8.5, creativity 8.5, speed 7 and autonomy 8. That's an 8.45. Last up, Opus 5 Ultracode with Livewire. Biggest mod of the test. 16 blocks, 11 machines, 14 items. 3 power sources. Hand crank, combustion dynamo and thermoelectric plates, which work by putting a cold block on one side and the hot block on the other. What stands out is the power system. Real grid with a frequency. Overloaded and machines slow down. Drop under 20 Hz and the whole factory browns out. There are 2 power storages. First, there is the flywheel bank that spins up slowly and keeps pushing with inertia. This helps you with stabilizing the frequency. And the second block is just a normal power bank. There are 2 different cable tiers. Sadly, they are for blocks, but it even has an overclocking coil. Overclocking coil speeds up your blocks by spending more power while using it. You can put 3 coils at most in each machine. Design is consistent, but the blocks shipped with a broken transparency issue, and they are just not at Fable's level. Capstone is the Arc Crucible, a sealed 3x3x3 that makes diamonds out of coal, plus Volt alloy for the better cables. 10 achievements, most of anyone. The only 9 in creativity in the whole test. Simulated grid with a live frequency, recipes bound to a power instead of seconds, most machines, most power sources, most achievements. But on the other side, broken transparency, client was never launched, grid controller shows wrong values, docs are the messiest of the group. This is still the mod I would personally install first. Quality 8, creativity 9, speed 5.5, autonomy 6.5, so that's an 8.35. Alright, that's all 7. All 7 models shipped a real installable mod. Same prompt, same rules, not a single one-shot fail. I did not expect that. Every mod built a real functional multiblock. Almost every mod has ore duplication or ore doubling as the final mod phase. Only Fable Ultracode ends with a wireless sun, and Kimi has a useless endgame ore that has no real value. What almost nobody did is fluids, different machine tiers and recipe integration. But now let's go to the placements. Fable 5 Ultracode wins. Close but fair. It won on the thing that this test was actually about. Something a player can just pick up and play without a single broken part. Opus Max loses by 0.01. Fable Ultracode got 8.5 autonomy. Opus Max got 8. That half point is the entire difference. Top 3 are only 0.11 apart. Fable Ultracode is the clean one. Opus Max is the proven one, and Opus Ultracode is the deep one. You can install any of these 3 and have a good time. Fable Max in 4th still stings a little. When I saw Fable Max first, I was really surprised, and I thought this will be at least place 1 or 2. Pretty textures, but with lying tooltips and cables that do not connect, I can clearly say that this position is the correct one. Kimi sits down there with GPT Ultra, but for different reasons. GPT Ultra shipped literal ugly trash. Kimi shipped unfinished. I've got high hopes for future Kimi models, and I've dropped the idea that Chinese models are years away from Frontier. If you want that pretty factory, take Fable. If you want the actual factory, take Opus. And if someone tries to sell you GPT Ultra in the current state it is, I don't know what to tell you. GPT 5.6 Sol is not a bad model in itself, but it's clear that this model needs strict guidelines, even stricter than what was given here. It almost feels like it always uses the shortest path to victory, which can be the thing that you want, but you would need to really sit down and plan, analyze, structurize, and then generate. That's it for today. Next week, I will go into why I don't fully trust the GPT lineup and why I hate the current AI marketing strategies. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.